What up, dope? Hopefully we good. Hopefully we good. I'm wearing my mask today. Let's see how long I can make it work wearing this motherfucker. I don't know if it's gonna be the whole episode, but I'm doing it. Welcome back, man. This is Streams. This is Streams episode 15, man. I'm trying to knock this out. Today is, what's today? Today is March 20th. March 20th, it is 7:48 p.m., man. Today is a Monday. I just recorded my last episode on what was that, Thursday. It was just March 16th I did it. I'm trying to get back on the ball and move these days closer to the beginning of the week, you know what I'm saying? Instead of putting these episodes out on like Thursday and Wednesday and all of that. I'm trying to get ahead of the ball a little bit. This week is no exception. I've been super busy this week. I've been trying to get this house together, doing some electrical work, all kind of stuff. Trying to make the studio more appealing. I ordered some new equipment, about to get some old equipment fixed, all kind of stuff. Hopefully you can understand me well enough through this mask, but I'm gonna wear it as long as I feel comfortable wearing it. Today's topic, what we doing? Yes. So I was sitting here mulling over my list, and the thing that grabbed me by the heartstrings today is what's corny. Black people's measuring stick for what's cool ain't always right, my nigga. It's not always right. Fuck it. Let's move. Let's pull it up a little bit. See if I can help myself. Oh, damn, and I unplugged my light. That's a first. Mask got me all messed up. Get that back on. Get that back on. All right. Whatever. The mask is here. The mask is here to stay, too. But yeah, man. So over the last few weeks, all this controversy around Michael B. Jordan and even his co-host in that movie, Creed 3. I don't even remember that dude's name. Let me look him up real quick. Just so I can be accurate information-wise. Jonathan Majors, right? Yeah. Jonathan Majors. I don't really even know where I know him from, but I've seen him in so many things. Pretty handsome guy. I think Michael B. Jordan is a pretty handsome guy. But all of this controversy that's been going on lately, you know, I'm not one to make these episodes about like pop culture things. I don't really want to talk about that so much. But I thought that this particular incident in like pop culture in Hollywood was interesting because it raised the question, what's corny? Who's corny? Why is it considered corny? Why are they considered corny, right? For those of you who don't know, which is probably none of you, Michael B. Jordan was on the red carpet or something for I think for the release of his movie. I think it was the early, like the premiere of it. He was being interviewed by some woman that he knows from his past. He went to school with her, I think. She used to call him corny, or somebody, you know, she said it on an interview, or somebody said it on a podcast, and she was there. And then he asked her, when he walked up to her microphone and said something about being corny, he kind of like threw it in her face, almost like, you know, you want to talk to the guy that you used to call corny or whatever. And she was like, no, I didn't say that. Whatever she said, I don't know. I don't even care. I don't think he did anything wrong either, by the way. There's nothing wrong with calling women out. Like, he didn't like something that was said. He said something about it. He didn't embarrass her. All he did was bring it up. If that's too much for somebody to handle, then you weak. That's my opinion. You too weak. If you shouldn't be in Hollywood, especially Hollywood, if you too weak to handle that situation. All he did was bring it up and ask about it and called you out. It's not like he called her a stupid B word or said something reckless. All he did was brought it up, stayed and answered her questions, and then moved on, right? He smiled. And why I don't understand why everybody was in such an uproar about this stupid incident. Nothing even happened. He didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with calling women out. I don't care. Just because she's a woman, she can't be held accountable, or nobody can be held accountable. And then the person that supposedly did say it, because she claims she didn't say it. I didn't do enough research to find out the facts. I don't care. But she said she didn't say it. I believe her. Whatever. The woman that did say it, though, I heard that she doubled down and said, yeah, and I still feel like he corny. All right, cool, whatever. But that made me think about, why do we consider the things corny? Why do we consider the things that we consider corny? I think about people like Will Smith. I think about people like Michael B. Jordan, Nick Cannon, right? These are people that we call corny. There's a lot more people. Like people like Carlton from Fresh Prince. We would call him corny, right? We would call him like kind of soft. I don't know if those are synonyms, but to me it seems like they are. And that's where the definition of whatever corny is supposed to be comes into play. What is corny? Let's look up. I don't think corny is in the actual dictionary. Let's check. You know, I love definitions. Trite, banal, and mawkishly sentimental. First of all, what in the does trite mean? Let's look that up. Overused and consequently of little import, lacking originality or freshness. Wow. What else did it say? It said banal. I don't know these words. Forgive me. I know a lot of words. I don't know these words. So lacking in originality as to be obvious and boring. Ah. And then mawkish, sentimental in a feeble or sickly way, having a faint sickly flavor. I don't know where that come from. Corny. So banal, lacking originality. That word originality came up in both of those words. And the other word was trite. Overused and consequently of little import, lacking originality or freshness. So basically, corny literally means you have no personality, you have no originality, you are not your own man. You are like a copy of someone else. You do the same things everyone else does. But that's a literal definition. Let's look up Urban Dictionary's definition of corny. Urban Dictionary says, there's probably a lot of definitions. Idiots who try to make themselves look good in public, but really are embarrassing. Trying to be cool, but ultimately very uncool indeed, and often even extremely embarrassing. Okay. Saying or doing something so outdated, it's stupid or funny, often done knowingly to be funny or romantic. It can also be done unknowingly as a result of being uninformed. I can understand that one. When I think about these definitions, all of them that I just read, I don't understand how Michael B. Jordan fits into that. When I think about my own definition of corny, here's how I would define corny. I think corny is like, let me get these definitions bookmarked. All right, cool. When I think of the word corny, I would define it as being embarrassing is a good word, awkward, kind of like stiff and uncoordinated. I would say soft or even weird, right? You think about somebody like when we were kids, we were in 6th grade or 5th grade or whatever grade you were in when Pokemon cards was popular, right? I was in like 5th, 6th grade. I was in 6th grade when it really was like really big. I was into Pokemon cards, right? I think I was considered corny. I think I'm still considered corny. I think I'm considered corny now for much dumber reasons than I was as a kid. But as a kid, I was probably considered corny because while my friends was learning how to do crossovers and watching basketball and football and like learning about different NBA players and stuff, knowing the stats, buying clothes, into girls, I was into girls, but I was too shy to be really into them. But I didn't like sports. You know what I'm saying? I like sports now more than I ever did. But now, but then I didn't care about sports. I thought sports were, I didn't understand the appeal. I didn't. As a kid, it didn't take me long to understand it once I was an adult. But as a kid, I was like, why are you watching this? Because I'm into video games and Pokemon cards and like Yu-Gi-Oh cards and, it's kind of like nerdy stuff. And I didn't get a lot of female attention, and I'm sure that probably had something to do with it. The fact that I wasn't mainstream, I wasn't on the beaten path, I wasn't doing what everybody else was doing. So I was like, socially, I was a pariah. I didn't have the look, I didn't have the aesthetic that fit into the norms. And ironically enough, that's exactly why only certain women were drawn to me. It would be like, yeah, they could get all the popular girls and the cool girls, but then the girls that they couldn't get usually was drawn to me. You know what I'm saying? Because they kind of like the fact that I was my own man, which is kind of ironic because those definitions spoke a lot about originality, right? But it's almost like that's not what it means. It seems like you're corny if you're not like everybody else. And that's not necessarily true because there's people who are like into nerdy things that are like still cool, I think. Because if you look at somebody like, I don't know, I think we consider as a society, maybe today, I don't know about then, but like Albert Einstein, even though he's nerdy and weird and old and messy looking and sloppy, we revere him, right? I don't think we say he's uncool. I never heard anybody say, fuck Albert Einstein. Never heard that. So it's not like just because you're into something that's like academic or intelligent that it means you're weird or corny. But in my experience growing up, it was almost like you were corny if you were different. That's it. You were corny if you didn't know how to dance or you didn't know how to dress or, and I agree with those things. I'm not trying to cut myself no bill. I understand why people might have called me corny as a kid. I never got called that exact word, but I think the way people felt about me, corny, the word sums it up. I think that's what they thought of me. And that's their business. But it begs the question, like, why do so many people consider Michael B. Jordan, of all people, to be corny? Now, I know he's not the coolest person because I think he's a handsome guy, right? I think when we see him dress, when he's like out and about and the way he dresses, he doesn't look weird. He doesn't look, and he don't be at the basketball game. First of all, he's at the basketball games. He like does things that like most guys are into. He's quiet. He don't be in the club throwing money or wearing chains. I'm sure he wears chains, but not the way that like rappers do it. So he's not cut from that cloth, right? But the nigga is from Jersey, bro. What about him is corny? I think people listen to the vernacular that he uses. His mannerisms, maybe. He's not so street. He don't have an edge to him, right? But why do that mean he's corny? I don't understand. Maybe I can't understand because I'm corny. Whatever. But I just don't get it. What makes him corny? First of all, he's a millionaire, right? And money doesn't unlame anybody, but let's just start there and I'll explain. Everybody that's calling him corny, most of the people that's calling him corny couldn't wash his car. So my point is, why am I listening to these people tell me what's corny when they're talking about a man that's far more successful, far more rich, far more loved and revered than they are? If that's corny, then sign me up. He don't be in trouble. He minds his business. He got in a relationship with Lori Harvey. Everybody was cheering for him. Then he got broken up with by Lori Harvey and everybody was like making fun of him, you know? So clearly he can get women. They just called the motherfucker the sexiest man alive or something like that or whatever. I don't, that ain't none of my goddamn business either. But why is he corny? Let's move on to Nick Cannon. People call Nick Cannon corny. Why is this light flickering like that? I don't like that. People call Nick Cannon corny. I watched Nick Cannon grow up, even though I think he's older than me. But I'm saying, like, I literally watched him go from being a kid on TV to today. I've been watching him ever since he was like on Nickelodeon. I've been seeing him in some capacity for the last 2 decades or more, or however long it's been. It's been a long time. I've been seeing Nick Cannon for a long time, right? And by like hood definition of what corny is or what I think it is, because I don't think any of us know what corny is. I can understand why people might put the corny tag on Nick Cannon, right? He's a kind of a square guy. He don't have no street cut to him, no street edge. He's very nice. As far as we know, he's always smiling and his humor is kind of awkward and not funny for real. But I don't understand why we as a people kind of look down at him like he's just this little corny dude that we supposed to like, we just rub his head, like call him little fella or something, when he's richer than all of you. Now, I'm not trying to make it seem like, forgive me for the confusion. I'm not trying to make it seem like money is the solution or the answer to all things, because it is not. You could be corny with money. But I'm bringing up these particular people because they're black people, and it's black people that are calling him corny. White people don't think Nick Cannon are corny as far as I know. Probably the average American don't think Nick Cannon is corny. He's a hard worker. He clearly can get women. So while all these dudes are sitting around in these circles talking about him, calling him corny, he's fucking all the women that you dream about. Why is he corny? I think his humor is terrible. I think his mannerisms are kind of terrible. I think he's a little corny to myself. But looking at the bigger picture of who he is and what he represents, what he has accomplished, and I'm not, businesses and all of the avenues that he's traveled, all of the money he's been able to make, the great representation that he's created for himself and us, right? The jobs that he's been able to acquire. That don't come by way of, he didn't get where he is by being weak, first of all. He didn't get to where he is by being lazy. He didn't get to where he is by being incapable. I respect results, and I respect people who respect people. as far as, the public eye, the public perception of him, he seems to be a pretty nice guy, pretty cool guy. First of all, let's point out what he did with Wildin' Out alone. Wildin' Out is a platform that we haven't seen since In Living Color. Or, I mean, and as far as black people, we've had a few things pop up in between In Living Color and Wildin' Out in the mid-2000s, 2005, I think. In Living Color probably went off the air in 92, 93, I don't know. In Living Color was powerful because it was a place for black comedy, black comedians, black culture. We could decide what it looked like, what it sounded like. We could decide what it dressed like. We could decide the hair. We could decide who was on it. We could decide what we wanted to see because it was ours, in theory. It was like Black Saturday Night Live. That disappeared. We had a lot of black sitcoms. We had things like Dance 360 and all these, new dance show, Detroit and all of that stuff. And, these platforms where black people could display their culture, their interests to the world or publicly or whatever, however you want to say it. Nick Cannon pops up in the mid-2000s with Wildin' Out. Now, I'm not saying it's anything like In Living Color in terms of its layout, its format, and its content, no. But it is like In Living Color because it is a platform that is mostly black. It's owned by, it used to be owned by him. I think he sold it to like Viacom, and now they own the rights to the show, but it is still his show because without Nick Cannon, there is no Wildin' Out. They've already tried. It didn't work. Without Nick Cannon, there is no Wildin' Out. But the show represents something so much bigger than Nick Cannon. Now, this is his idea. This is his IP. He gave a platform to black comedians from all over the world. He gave a platform to rappers, battle rappers, regular rappers, comedians, actors, models, singers, whatever it is, to come onto the show, do a little bit of comedy, do some improv, play some games, be seen. It's a platform that is used for promotion too. It's a powerful place to be. It became, for a long time, it became a part of people's media run. They would go do interviews at the Breakfast Club. They would do interviews on, whatever, Shade 45 with Sway. They would go talk to Hot 97. They would go to 106 in Park back then. They would go to these, Angie Martinez, these places, right? Wildin' Out became a part of people's media run because if they knew that they were dropping an album or they were coming out with a movie or they were doing a stand-up special or they had a product to promote, they could just go on Wildin' Out and be seen by young people, young people, older people, old people, whatever. It's just a place to be seen. And if you're being seen by the millions of viewers that they had every week, it's exposure for you and your brand and your product or your adventures, whatever you got going on. Now, this is what Nick Cannon created. This is his brainchild. I don't know the particulars. Maybe somebody helped him, but that's his show. Stop me when I get to the corny. He gets on the show. He allows his co-hosts, his friends, sometimes people he didn't get along with would come on the show. Like, he seems to be a stand-up guy. Sometimes people that he's had problems with came on the show. Sometimes people that his co-hosts had problems with come on the show. I've never heard anybody say anything about him not paying them well. I never heard them say anything about him being skeevy or rotten. In fact, when he got in trouble for the anti-Semitism, and then he said, and then they removed him from the show, they tried to get DC Young Fly to take over, and DC Young Fly said, I'm not doing that to him. I'm not doing that. You know, I don't know whatever happened with that, but as far as I know, he said, I'm not doing that to him. What does that show you? I know all of this is kind of off topic, but it ain't off topic because I'm trying to figure out why a person that's this stand-up, this good to his people, this important to his people, to us, why is he corny to us? I'm challenging the thought process that goes behind what we label as corny or unacceptable or not cool or not mainstream. Why do you think the things that you think? Is it because somebody told you to think that? I think we should adjust what we think is corny. I was in my ninth grade classroom, right? This guy named Samuel Pace, say his whole name. Big, tall, light-skinned dude with a permanently swollen lip and dirty braids. If you're seeing this, God bless you. But you know I'm telling the truth. We was in class and we was in ninth grade. One of the teachers said something about, why are you walking around or whatever? I think he said, I was sharpening my pencil or something, or I'm done with my work or something like that, right? And he was like, the teacher was like, go sit down and, read chapter, blah, 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 blah. He was like, reading? Fuck I look like reading a book. Excuse me, you said what? You said as if it was corny, right? As if it was corny. Too corny for you to read a book. Now, I know whoever watching this part right here has their own stories. Either they said it themselves, you said it, or you know somebody who said something like that, or you secretly feel that way about things like reading. Because he's not the only man, the only person, the only kid that I've ever heard say stuff like that. I'm not reading. That's lame. Why do we as black people feel like that? Is it by design? Is this the damage that white folks have done to us? I don't know. It could be. I understand how white supremacy has worked. I know the cause for a lot of things is white supremacy. It's like almost so it's almost so automatic that it's unnecessary to say. So I don't say it, right? I know the way that we think, our psychology and the way that we relate to each other even has a lot to do with the way that white supremacy has done work on us. I understand that. Don't think that I'm naive. I understand. But at what point can we decide to think for ourselves and say, it's cool to read books? Me and my girl just went to Chicago last month, about 3 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago, something like that, right? The end of February. One of the best parts of the trip, my girlfriend had found this bookstore, it was like a bookstore that was free, bro. It was like a community project placed in, I forget the name of the neighborhood in Chicago, but it was placed there and their mission statement was on the wall and it said something about the redistribution of books to people. And I thought that was so cool, bro. And my girlfriend left there and she was like, yeah, I want to know what it takes to do something like that. I would love to do something like that. And while we were there, when we were leaving, they were about to close, actually. We were like, we barely made it. We made it within the last 30 minutes of them being open. And I think we had either said it prior to this or I had just thought it to myself. We were like, how do they keep books though? They do limit how many books a person can take, but it's 10 books. I took 10 books for free. There's a lady sitting off to the side. She's just over there messing around on her laptop or whatever. She was on her tablet, just kind of like overseeing the shop. It wasn't too big either, but there was a nice amount of books in there, and it was like a widespread, topic base. It was like Black history stuff. It was autobiographies, kids' storybooks. It was like all kind of stuff, anything you could think of for free. I went through there, picked 10 books, looked at the lady like, all right, see you later. And she was like, bye-bye, thanks for coming. I'm like, this is really free, huh? You can donate if you want. I tried to donate, but literally the, what's the name of that app? It's really unimportant, but I can't not say it now. Yeah, their Venmo, it wasn't working. I tried like 10 times to send them I was only going to pay them like $15 or something. But, I'm like, this is the least I could do. I like this. I like the effort that they're doing, that they're putting forward. This is a pretty cool initiative. You're encouraging people to read. Now, I don't know whose idea the shop was or who runs it, but I know there was a white lady behind the counter when I was there. The neighborhood that we were in seems like it was a hippie, like a hipster part of town in Chicago. A lot of young white people walking dogs and driving when we were out there. We went to another record store right next door, ran by a white guy. It seemed like to be part of Chicago that was kind of like, I don't want to say gentrified because I don't know enough about Chicago to say that, but it was definitely a white hood, right? A white neighborhood. They like reading. Why are we in our hoods saying it's lame to read and all we want to do is smoke, wake and bake and wake up and smoke all day and just get high and high and higher and higher? That's corny to you? Reading? I grew up with a father that read plenty, and if he didn't read, he was gathering knowledge from some source. He used to watch Jeopardy all day, learning facts, researching said facts. He used to buy books, read books. He used to watch shows or documentaries, and he taught me a lot of things. And I think it's evident in the way that I carry myself. Not toot my own horn. I'm nobody special. I'm just saying my father poured into me. I think that should be normal. But it's not normal. Unfortunately, not where I'm from. Most of the people I went to school with didn't know their fathers at all. And a lot of them that did know their fathers, sometimes that relationship wasn't good. Not blaming the person, the kid, but it's true. My father was there. My father taught me. My father taught me the importance of reading. And then guess what? He married a woman who he had me with, who used to keep a stack of books that would come up this high off the floor, 3-4 feet tall of books. And she would just work through them. She used to read every day. Still does probably. I don't know how often she does today because I know, with the emergence of Netflix and the things that she's into now, it might have pulled her away from it a little bit. But when I was young, I remember outside of my room in the hallway, there used to be this wall between my room and my parents' room. You got a door here and a door here. And the wall that goes between our rooms, there was a stack of books in the hallway all the time. There were fictional novels. That's really what she liked. It seemed like she liked reading like love stories, but she used to read all the time. So I grew up seeing that. Now, behind me in that shelf, that black shelf back there, I have a collection of books. I don't read them all. I'm not a bookworm. I don't read physical books a lot. But on this computer that I'm more drawn to than my parents are, because my generation is the technology. We were the first technology generation. My generation, the first the first millennials or whatever I am, we were the first ones with laptops. And, I had a laptop when I was like 7. You know what I'm saying? And it was mine. Like, my mother brought it from work, and I used to play games on there and type. I learned how to type when I was real young. I don't like that. This camera look like it's doing me real bold right now. I'm trying, y'all. I think I'm about to buy me a new camera, like within the next few days. I think. I don't know, but it looked blurry to me. I don't like that. I can't tell with this little screen. But anyway, my generation was the one that was sort of drawn to technology so much more than my parents' generation, because obviously they didn't have the stuff we have. And by technology, I mean electronics, computers, video games, blah, blah, blah. That's where my intake comes from. YouTube, reading online. Nowadays, TikTok is just flush with information and documentaries and conspiracy theories. And, me and my girlfriend, sometimes we spend entire nights. We'd be on, like, she'd pull up her phone and we'd just be laying in bed watching her phone for 8, 9 hours. 7, 6, 5 hours, you know what I'm saying? Just watching stuff and then having conversations about it. We've done that plenty of times. It's one of our things. But I enjoy taking in information. You know what I mean? I enjoy learning. I enjoy keeping my mind sharp. And there's no one right way to do that. You could do that however you do it. I watch documentaries. I watch various videos to learn about whatever I want. I watch interviews like crazy to learn. Why does that make me crazy? I mean, not crazy, I'm sorry. Why does that make me corny? You know what I mean? Why does that make anyone corny? Why does me not being like everyone else make me corny? Why does me being withdrawn and to myself make me corny? I don't know if people think I'm corny now, but if you do, it wouldn't surprise me if you did. I feel like most people don't even know me. Even my clients and people that, I feel like there's only a few people on this earth that really know who I am anyway. But people probably think I'm corny, and that's cool with me. I don't really care about that. But I do want to know why. For your sake, not my sake. I want to know why we deem the things we deem corny. Why do we do that? In other communities, they celebrate academic achievements. I've literally seen people be made fun of for getting good grades. And in hindsight, I know that has something to do with self-hatred, which is another topic that I almost did today. I mean, not self-hatred, but more like self-hatred in the sense that you hating your brother is self-hatred, right? And it's like you hate yourself, so you tear down other people because they're doing something that you can't. That's what I understand a lot of the bullying and things that went on when I was in school to be. It's just kids being jealous and then tearing down their friends and classmates because they felt bad about themselves. Maybe that's what we're doing now. Michael B. Jordan is corny. Why? Let's just say he is corny. I would rather my son be like Michael B. Jordan than my son be like Young Thug. I like Young Thug's music. I'm not even going to explain. I'm not going to explain myself like I've done something wrong by saying what I just said. His music is cool. I wouldn't want my son to be like that nigga, though. And if you telling me you want your son to be like him, good luck. You know, I understand black men and I understand their plights. I understand how a lot of these street dudes get in the positions that they're in. I understand it. I understand it in and out. I'm a few steps away from being that. You know, one bad summer and I will be that. But I would much rather my son be like Michael B. Jordan than my son be like Young Thug, these people that y'all cherish and praise and worship. I don't want my son to be like that motherfucker. I don't want my son facing no RICO charge. Look at the people that y'all uplift. You calling Michael B. Jordan corny while he's directing his own fucking hit box office movie as a black man. He directed a movie that belongs to Sylvester Stallone's IP. Ryan Coogler did the two before that. I believe both of those. I think he did. You know, I'd rather my son be like Michael B. Jordan than motherfucking A.R. Ab or Casanova two times or motherfucking Tekashi 6ix9ine or give me corny all day long. This motherfucker a millionaire. He fucking with bad hoes. He directing his own movies and his movies are good. He ain't the most coolest nigga, but I would much rather my son be like that than for me to be talking to him through a motherfucking thick-ass sheet of plexiglass because this nigga is going to jail for 40 years. Look at what y'all uphold. All these grown-ass men on the internet talking about some free thug and don't even know that nigga. This nigga out here killing people and you talking about free him. I fuck with his music, but I'm not screaming free that nigga. He need to stay where he at if he did that shit. You know, I don't wish nothing on nobody, but he did that shit to himself. I wouldn't tell a motherfucker, hey, look, he did some dirt, go get him. But nigga, you killed some people. What about their families? I'm not screaming free no nigga that did some shit. You did that shit, I mean, I love you. I fuck with your music, my nigga. But go have a seat. Now, if he's innocent, that's another story. Totally different story. But if he did that shit, y'all niggas is tripping. Because let a nigga kill one of your family members. Let a nigga blow your brother brains out or your cousin brains out. And then a nigga sit next to you talking about some free thug because that nigga's music is sweet. Man, come on, man. That's corny to me. Y'all niggas is corny to me. Whoever y'all is. If it's you, then I'm talking to you. Change your heroes. Nick Cannon is my motherfucking hero. You know what I'm saying? This nigga's rich as hell, doing what he want to do, having sex with all these women that he want. With consent, he's having sex with all these women that are beautiful, and they're giving him babies. He's afraid that he's going to die soon, so he wants to go forth and be fruitful and multiply his seed. That's his right. Just like it's a woman's right to have as many babies as she wants. If he's having consensual sex with a bunch of women who are willing to keep giving him babies, I don't have nothing to say about that. That's his business. Everybody be on the internet talking about all this we was kangs shit because we all come from Africa. We was kangs. Here this nigga is in 2023 doing the very shit that you reminiscing about, being a king, having babies with the women that he considered to be his queens, and y'all making fun of the nigga. But then you want to get on the internet and talk about, oh, ancient Egypt and we used to be kings in Africa. Which one is it, motherfucker? You know, jealousy tell a lot of shit, man. Niggas start talking down about a lot of things that they can't do because of jealousy. But if you was to put them in that seat, they would take the opportunity without even fucking blinking. But it be jealousy that make a nigga speak ill about some shit. That's my whole point. Michael B. Jordan is corny to you niggas because you jealous. He's not like you, so you feel like that's a threat to who you are. You know the reason why I don't think that nigga's jealous? Because instead of perceiving him as a threat, I perceive him as an inspiration. You know who I think is a threat? I think niggas like Young Thug and niggas that's out here blowing other black men's brains out is the motherfucking threat. I don't look up to no nigga that's killing they brothers. And I ain't talking about drug dealers. I have my own philosophy when it comes to selling drugs. That's a fucking choice. And the buyers are making choices. Unless you grabbing people by their arms and injecting dope in their veins, I don't think you're really doing shit wrong. You might be, I think you're doing something wrong, but I don't think it's the things that y'all say are wrong. I think drug dealing is wrong because you're enabling something, but regardless, Coca-Cola is enabling something too. Look at me. I'm fat as hell. My doctor was telling me if I don't get this shit together, I could be at risk, high blood pressure, hypertension, losing my kidneys. Where do you think that comes from? Do you think I got that by eating fruits and vegetables? I'm fine now. This is just something she was warning me about. She was like, if you don't get your blood pressure together, these are the things that can happen. You can lose function to your organs. And I'm like, oh no, let me get that shit under control. I chilled out on the salt. I started eating different. I started portion controlling, eating different things. And she even gave me some medicine, right? She gave me some medicine. And I took the medicine, right? And it took me to, I'm good. My blood pressure's fine, right? But as a person, as a man, I make my choices and I drink Coca-Cola and Sprite and McDonald's and all this bull. Fried chicken this, fried chicken that, fried that, bread this, pasta that. Salt on everything. Instant noodles. All of my life, right? I chose those things though. But guess what? Sugar and salt is just as addictive as crack. It's just as addictive. In fact, it invokes the same chemical reaction in us. Dopamine, satisfaction, addiction. I'm not making it up. You go read it yourself. So does that mean McDonald's is just as guilty as Big Meech? I don't look up to niggas like that. I'm not impressed by that. But you know why? Because I'm not a hoe. And I mean in the literal sense. I'm not no motherfucker. I don't have a pimp. You can't impress me with the pimping, nigga. You let a nigga talk you into buttering you up and following a nigga's word because it looks cool. I'd rather look up to Michael B. Jordan and motherfucking Nick Cannon and niggas that I think are stand-up guys. And I don't really follow no man. I really admire people like Nipsey Hussle. What was the other corny person I said? I said Nipsey Hussle's not corny. But I'm talking about, I said Michael B. Jordan, Nick Cannon. I'm gonna kick myself for not remembering the third person. I can't remember who the third person was. You know who I think is corny? Derek Jackson is corny. Because this nigga got all these muscles and he's sitting in the car. Lady, you should never let no man do this to you. And you should never let no man tell you that you're not no queen and all this. Man, what are you talking about, bro? Niggas pandering so hard, that's corny. Nigga, be yourself. I think that's what's corny, where you ain't being yourself. Just because you into something that's nerdy or not mainstream, if it's who you are, you the illest nigga in the room. If you unapologetically like, yeah, I'm a video game nerd. I got a PlayStation right here with a Nintendo Switch on top of it. I got a Superboy behind me that plays Super Nintendo games, a computer with video games on it, a YouTube channel that's playing video games in the background sometimes. I got another computer here with games on it, a PlayStation 4, a Nintendo 64, a PlayStation 3. I got every system sitting in a box right here, right? That's who I am. I'm 34. I don't give a fuck about what nobody think. I have people coming here all the time, strangers, friends, clients, girls, all kind of shit. I'm not hiding the things that make me who I am. I used to. I used to not want to tell girls the things that I was into. But when I started choosing myself and choosing to be myself, I said, I'm not hiding myself from no bitch. And if me telling you who I really am makes you not want to fuck with me, then I'm not supposed to be fucking with you anyway. I think anybody who chooses to be themselves, regardless of what everybody else is doing, is the illest niggas in the room. Y'all playing basketball? Okay, I don't fuck with basketball. I'm over here with these Pokemon cards. Because that's what I like. And what I'm gonna let, like, what type of, wouldn't it be corny for me to let a nigga peer pressure me and talk me into doing some shit I don't want to do? Because that's what they want me to do? So y'all niggas be falling for the pimping. I don't fall for the pimping. I don't give a fuck who is cool and who convinced me that what they do is the right thing to do. I have my own measuring stick. The problem is a lot of black people are operating from the community measuring stick. You let other motherfuckers tell you what's cool and acceptable and right and wrong. So because Michael B. Jordan ain't got face tats and he don't blow weed all day and this nigga ain't running through hoes, and because this nigga don't use the vernacular and the terminologies you use, he's a cornball? All right, cool. But like I said, I would rather have my son be like that cornball than to be like the niggas that y'all held to be the kings of the fucking culture. All these niggas going to jail and they your kings though. Now I know some niggas go to jail because they just victims of racism, institutionalized racism. They're victims of prison industrial, complex, all of these things. I understand those things. So don't come to me as if I don't understand those things. But my point is, everybody is not being swept up in racism. All of this shit is racism because us being in America is all racism. But I don't have a RICO charge yet. Let me pray to my God. God forbid, I don't have a RICO charge. I know plenty of black men who own homes and they real estate investors and they own businesses and they taking care of children and they got step kids and adopted kids. I know black men that do all kinds of dope, amazing shit, and they ain't got RICO charges. You got to have a RICO charge to be accepted? I got to kill a nigga to be accepted by you motherfuckers? And I'm not muting none of this shit in this episode. I've been cleaning up the cuss words. I need niggas to understand today. I know black men that just go to work and they come home to their wife or their girlfriend and they take care of things. They have a great time. They go on vacation to Turks and Caicos and they go to Mexico and they go to Africa and they do these things just as a regular man. Why do I gotta get face tats and shoot a nigga in his head to be cool to you niggas? Where's we at, bro? The Twilight Zone? Is this the playground? I don't understand you niggas. It's cool though. I don't have to worry about that because I'm not in the spotlight. I'm not in a spotlight where I have to be like whatever you want me to be. I am whatever I am. And you niggas gonna have to kill me to be something different. The only thing you gonna make me be is a corpse. But other than that, you ain't got too many options because I've already decided who I want to be. I've done some dirt in my life, and guess what I felt like? I didn't think that shit felt good. And I didn't think that shit fit me. When I do dirt, I think about my mama. When I do dirt, I think about my father. Because my father had to do dirt to get me where I'm at. So if I turn around and just repeat the curse, then I'm not doing right by him, am I? We need to change our heroes. Black people are lost on many fronts. We don't know what the fuck we doing. We got part of our community is all into all Hotep. And some of them is even so far into the black, unapologetically African thing that they judge everybody else. But then you got the niggas on the other extreme who's all so street that they think anybody who's upright, standing citizens and righteous people are corny. Then you got all the shit in the between on the spectrum. Be yourself and live and let live. Or live and let die, or whatever the motherfucking saying is. I can't allow another motherfucker to tell me what's corny or what's acceptable. These black men in these motherfucking movies and shit that's in here making millions and making their people look good with these performances. But meanwhile, we got millions of people watching this nigga Derek Jackson lie through his teeth every week, talking about some shit that he don't even know nothing about. How you giving advice about a bunch of shit that you ain't ever done? You telling women what they should accept and what they shouldn't allow, and then you would go home and fuck over your wife. It's marketing. All he want is attention. That would be like me getting on this motherfucker talking about all these things that I talk about and then turning this camera off and just going and smoking crack or going and beating my girlfriend or going and not raising my kids or abandoning my kids or going and killing myself or some shit. We need to change our heroes. The people that we looking up to is all fucking us over, bro. I love rap. Nigga, I grew up in this shit. I've been listening to DMX since I was fucking 9 years old or something. But I've been listening to Tupac since I was 5, 6 years old. Those are flawed men. But the great thing about DMX and those two people in particular, DMX and Tupac, is that they'll tell you I'm flawed. But they both had duality. DMX was a little less militant than Tupac was, but they both were very militant and they both were very raw people. And they would tell you the truth. They both had a lot of emotion. They both had a lot of love in them. They both had a lot of truth in them. So on one hand, Tupac smoked weed all day, do a bunch of wild shit in the streets, but then he'd go and he'd tell you, do for self, free your people, speak truth, speak light into the kids, all of these things that he would say. Treat the women right, respect your mama, honor thy parents, all of these things, right? Honor thy mother and thy father. Not parents, honor thy mother and thy father. DMX had 20-something kids, 18 kids. He probably didn't do a very good job of taking care of all of them. But flawed and all, he still was there and he still cared. He made a lot of mistakes, but the nigga was really who he was, right? That's what I look up to. I look up to niggas that can be flawed, make mistakes, do wild shit, and then tell you not to do it. Not a nigga making a bunch of songs, bragging about killing niggas and then encouraging other niggas to do it. That's not gangster to me. Gangster to me is a nigga that tell you, you don't want this shit. I went through that, so hopefully you ain't got to go through that. That's why Jay-Z is the GOAT. Fuck them niggas y'all talking about, bro. All of these rappers that I'm naming is niggas. That nigga Royce said, if you ain't living your life for your kids, I ain't giving your ass no respect. These are men that I uphold. Nipsey Hussle said a million things. I can't name one. God will rise. This nigga's a gangbanger with God will rise on his face. Duality. I appreciate niggas who can get their hands dirty and then tell you a different way to go because I already went this way. And guess what? The result of a bunch of real niggas going the wrong way and turning back and saying, hey, y'all, don't come this way, go another way. The result of that is Michael B. Jordan and other niggas that are corny. Why do y'all think these niggas don't come from neighborhoods where they have examples of street shit? Michael B. Jordan is from Jersey. He has a million examples of what not to do. If you think I'm corny, it's because my father did a good job. I seen my father knock niggas out. I seen my father shoot niggas. I seen my father do all kind of shit. And guess what? When he came home, he said, no, you gonna go a different way though. I already went this way and I found out it's a bunch of dark shit down there. It's a bunch of shit that'll make you not be able to sleep down there. It's a bunch of shit that'll get you locked up down there. It's a bunch of shit that'll get you killed down there. I want you to go a different way. That's how you get corny niggas. Niggas that went the way that you trying to go now. You just trying to repeat the mistake. I'm a result of a nigga telling me not to. But a nigga call me corny. You know what I'm saying? No. You corny. You corny because you think the way to go is to kill people that look like you. You think the way to go is to destroy your motherfucking community. How the fuck is we as a people, Rosa Parks lived in Detroit on the west side, like the north end. Niggas broke into Rosa Parks' house and robbed Rosa Parks. The very motherfucker that allowed you to be where you at. You know, I don't really give a fuck about Rosa Parks that much because I kind of think she was, I know a little bit enough to know that she was kind of a fraud. She was just the face of a movement, but regardless, what she represented was bigger than any of us. You know what I'm saying? But how is we as a people, we don't even fucking protect and uphold our own. You got two black men starring in a movie called Creed 3 that is directed by one of the niggas that starred in the movie, and all we talking about is whether or not this nigga is corny. I think that's corny. I think we lost. I think the whole world is laughing at you and me because we look like, as a people, we look like we all in high school. I know niggas personally. I've seen them. I don't fuck with them. I know niggas that'd rather get dressed for a group of niggas to impress than go see their kids. Your kids haven't seen you in months, but them niggas that you going to wherever you going to, with the movies or bowling alley with, or going skating with a bunch of grown-ass men, you going to the mall getting dressed for some niggas, or a bitch that don't like you for real, and your kids have not seen you. That's why the world is laughing at us. A lot of this shit is the result of racism, but a lot of this shit is the result of us being fucking lost. Because racism can only be blamed for so much. Because at some point, if you know where the trap is, you should avoid the trap and go another way. Young thug. Man, fuck these niggas that y'all look up to, bro. A lot of these niggas is hoes, bro. Just because a nigga can kill somebody with a gun don't mean a nigga is worthy of looking up to. These niggas is hoes. A lot of these niggas y'all think is gangsters is hoes. Like a real bitch. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be really hoes. Y'all niggas ain't cut. I be in the house reading books and on the internet, and I still knock one of you niggas out for real. Because being a man is not predicated upon how much crime you've done. Being a man is not determined by how many guns you got. I got guns in this motherfucker. I ain't flashing them every chance I get. In fact, I pull guns where niggas can't see them. You know how many situations I've been in where I almost was about to blow a nigga brains out and he didn't even know it? That's because I'm not trying to impress nobody. I'm trying to protect myself. It's a few of these niggas out there that might be watching this motherfucker that was almost dead fucking with me. But, you know, whatever. I spared your life, nigga, you know? But whatever. None of that shit makes you a man either. Standing up for what the fuck you supposed to stand up for, all of that shit, I think that's what make a nigga cool. Niggas talking about how niggas is dressing. Like, man, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, bro. Y'all niggas is confused. Y'all niggas is lost. God bless you. You know what I'm saying? Change your heroes. Change your heroes. Because your heroes are leading you to a fucking hole. They're leading you into a motherfucking hole. I'm done. It's been an hour. I got it all out. I feel confident about this episode. I love this episode. I love the way it felt. This is Streams, bro. This is episode 15. If you made it this far, type the word heroes in the comments. Just to let me know you made it to this point in the video. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. If I offended you, change something. That could either mean change the fact that you watch these videos, change the fact that I hurt your feelings by changing what it is that I was right about, or have your own opinion and you gonna make a video and present your idea. But I'm not sorry about shit I said. I'm Red Quran. This is Streams, the greatest monologue on earth. Holla at me, nigga. I'm out. Cause life's a phony bitch. If age is just numbers, then why we fear time? Reincarnation, maybe Haile Selassie this time. What incarnation? Maybe I'm a philosopher slime. They still talk shit about me. Cut back your gossiping time. Dinosaurs down to the fossils, gray hair follicles now.